in the war. My role was a radio operator and a radar operator on a aircraft for looking for submarines in the Gulf during the first Gulf War in 91, 92, 93, that time frame.
Okay.
Oh yeah, yep. Yeah, I've had friends from boot camp up till the time I left, so and I'm still in contact with a few of them from boot camp. One of them in particular that became an F-18 pilot later, and then a couple of friends that I flew with, we still stay in contact with, and they retired from the Navy. So, yep, some of the best friends for sure. Go-to story? Not really. I mean, the type of missions we did it was all airborne missions, so we were never on the ground and like in hostile territory or anything. But there were times when we would fly in different areas where you'd be intercepted by fighter planes. So the plane I was on was a large 4-engine plane, and it wasn't super fast. It's like 400 or 500 miles per hour, about as fast as they'll go. So when you get close to certain coastlines and that kind of thing, the nations would send out their fighter jets to intercept you and kind of push you up back off of. We were in international waters, but they would try to push you kind of away, so they would just get close to you and try to get you to fly out of the path of their country and just kind of harass you a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was probably the most exciting things outside of talking on radios and running radars for avoiding airplanes or avoiding weather or looking for periscopes for submarine periscopes. It was pretty much what we did. Oh yeah, it was. You learn a different. You grow up very fast when I joined when I was 17 when I joined, and I went in when I was just turned 18, and by the time I was 19 to 20 or something like that, you're in these positions where you're either navigating the airplane through really bad weather. A lot of times we flew a couple hundred feet off the ocean floor at dark and night, and there were icebergs in some areas, obviously not in the Gulf, and that kind of thing where you were the eyes for the airplane, so you'd have to tell them where to make turns and that kind of thing. So I think when you're that young and you have a multi-million-dollar airplane and 15 or 20 people relying on you to make those decisions, it definitely makes you grow up a little quicker, matures you a little quicker.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, just having that responsibility and that type of stuff at a young age, I think really helps you grow up. I think I was too young to be scared of anything. It was, just like I said, if you're flying in the dark a couple hundred feet off the ocean, you probably should be scared. But to me, it was fun. You could tell the older commanders and the older officers that were pilots and Rios and that kind of stuff. They definitely had a different sense of being safe and that this is real stuff. That where you could get hurt, but when you're 18 to 25 or something like that, it's all just kind of fun. So there was nothing. We did lose engines and that kind of things every now and then where you'd have to get out of station or go back home on 2 engines instead of 4, that type of stuff, which should have been scary and it was definitely life-threatening, but I never worried about it. Yeah, well, not in direct line of combat or anything, but we did have a couple people die. Well, we lost the whole plane in the squadron next to us, which we were, it's a pretty small community, the P3 community, and there was this procedure where when you're looking for subs and dropping sonobuoys and that kind of stuff, another plane will come over and take over for you, and there's a procedure where you swap stations with that other plane, and the weather was really bad, and those 2 planes ended up colliding, and I think there were 32 people in that one that they all died at sea, and then we had another guy in our squadron. We had this big power amplifier, it's a 100,000 watt power amplifier. So it had a ton of voltage and amperage going through it. And one of the things, there were safety latches everywhere to keep you from doing things that you're not supposed to do in the thing. But the guy was an older guy. He'd done it 1,000 times. And he decided the only way he's going to be able to troubleshoot this thing was to disable a safety lockout. So he disabled it and ended up getting electrocuted and died on the flight line where we were.
Mhm.
So he was a guy we knew, but nothing directly combat related, I'd say,
Yeah.
from the enemy.